Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the San Diego Comic-Con 2018 exclusive version of Wonder Woman from Beast Kingdom, part of their DAH line. This is number 002. It's a 1/9 scale action figure of the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice version of Wonder Woman. That's a mouthful. It's basically the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman in comic colors. That's what this is. And they asked me to review it. So I said, sure. They sent me a review sample. Here it is. Anything I say from this point forward is unfortunate. If it's negative, I'm sorry, Beast Kingdom, but that you asked for a review, and you're going to get it. So sorry if you don't like what I have to say. But there are some good things about this figure, and I'll make sure to point those out as well. But of course, we have to talk about the bad, because that's what reviews do. So let's go ahead and get this off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about 7 1/4 inches, which makes it just about 18.5 centimeters. And honestly, aside from the coloring, it doesn't look anything like Gal Gadot. The face is absolutely 100% off. She's way too thick, and it just doesn't look like her. The sculpted details for the suit and things are okay. It's fairly accurate in that regard, but otherwise the body is like they just took generic female body number 1 and said it was Wonder Woman. It really doesn't look even the remote littlest bit like Gal Gadot. So that's unfortunate. If you want that to be the case, if you wanted it to look like Barbie, then it does look a lot like Barbie. And I mean, the face is supposed to have that kind of classic look, not really like a real person at all, very flat, so that's okay. But the face is also very glossy, just like Superman. Also, there's no blue shading in the hair, even though it's on the packaging, so that's pretty disappointing. The paint job for her outfit is pretty good. The silver is a very nice silver. I really like that metallic. It's great. The gold is a little bit more meh. The blue's okay. The stars are painted cleanly. Line work is mostly pretty clean, especially down here at the boots. It's pretty noticeable, so that's good. They did a decent job. Oddly enough, on her boobages, the gold part has literal, actual glitter on it. Not like metal flake in the paint, but straight up glitter. And I think that's terrible. I don't like that at all. That's like, if this was real life, those flakes of metal would be like some like cornflake sized flakes of metal. It's very strange looking. I don't care for it. Not one bit. Very odd. And then the last thing to note is her harness is like a loose piece, but it's overall connected to her. You can see how it's kind of weaved into her back piece there. It's a little bit weird, and you can't really do anything with it on this side, at least not as far as I can figure out. It seems to just be there. And then on this side, you're supposed to be able to tab this in to connect right there, so you can hang her lasso from it. I can't get it to peg in, so there is that as well. I guess I could try heating it up, but I mean, obviously that would help. Okay, so now let's talk about accessories. We have the 2 fist hands that come on her in the package, 2 gripping hands, and 2 relaxed hands. We do have the regular lasso, which is gold and just can hang from her belt, potentially. Then we have another lasso, which is molded in translucent orange with a little bit of glitter, and that's supposed to look like it's activated, I guess. And it looks like it's made big, so you can like wrap it around a person and then have her hold the smaller part of it. So that's kind of cool, I guess. We do have her shield, which is pretty nicely done. Good sculpt work, the paints are clean. It's kind of a hassle to get her to hold it with the gripping hand, so I would just slide her open hand in there. The hands are pretty flexible, so that's your best option. And then we have her sword, which is by far the best part of this figure. It's die cast. I was reading the instructions, it said be careful with it. I was like, why? And then I realized it was metal. It's not actually sharp or anything, but it's freaking cool. It's very well done. The paintwork on it is phenomenal. The sculpt is cool, and it's a die-cast little sword, so that's kind of awesome. And then lastly, we get our display stand, which says Wonder Woman on it. It has the logo, has a ratcheting hinge at the bottom, another hinge at the top, and then a loose swivel where the clip connects, and then 2 pressure clips just to hold her in place. Nothing for like flight poses or anything like that. All right, so let's talk about the articulation. The head is on just a single ball peg, but the hair is so stiff that you really can't do much with it unless you lift the hair up. But you don't really want to lift the hair up because there's no hair on the side of her head, painted or otherwise, so you don't want to expose that. So very minimal posing in the head. The shoulders are supposed to slide out like they do for the Batman and the Superman. I cannot get them to move. All I get is a swivel and a hinge, and that works well enough. It's not a terrible design. They don't quite go horizontal, but it does look good. I think as far as shoulders go, that's a nice enough way to make them look pretty natural, so that's all right. You get a bicep swivel at the little bracelet thingy here, whatever that thing's called. On this side, it's just in the middle of the arm. You get a single jointed elbow, which is not great, but you get about 90, and then you don't get any rotation out of that. For the wrists, double ball peg, pretty decent gapping though. so that's kind of a bummer. I mean, it's the result of a double ball peg, so if you don't like that. And by the way, the ball peg on this end is so tiny, it's really just a straight peg. So it's just a single ball peg, which has a lot of gaps. No diaphragm articulation. The skirt is somewhat soft, but not really, so her hip articulation is relatively low. Her hips would be moving normally, like right about here, but her hips pose all the way down here. So it makes her look kind of weird when you try to pose her. And then you can't really pose her that well because of the skirt. So it's not a great situation. The legs don't go super far forward, even though we do have the hinged ball pegs. Oh, by the way, they don't work on this figure. Her hinges in her crotch don't, I can't get them to move. They're both kind of stuck. And then this leg comes off when I try to pull on that. And I imagine this, yep, both legs come off instead of the hinge working. So that's kind of a bummer. Going out to the side, it's okay, but you can see it's really weird how low her hips are. You have this weird giant gap in between her legs, even from the front. And I'm trying so hard not to make any inappropriate jokes here. It's a really weird design. You do get a thigh swivel, so there's that. Double jointed knee, not the worst we've ever seen, but it's pretty bad. It's not great. And it's functional, but it looks pretty bad. And then for the ankle, you get a ball peg in there, which is interesting. So you get a ball peg that wiggles around. And then you have a hinge in the foot that lets the foot go back a little bit, go forward a little bit, rotate around, which is weird. Like, that ball peg is kind of worthless. It's up here rather than down here, which is where you need it, so it's kind of weird. Then you have a toe hinge, which doesn't really do anything. So yeah, these figures, I have to be completely honest. I'm sorry, Beast Kingdom. This is how I do reviews. I assume you know that based on asking me to review them. These figures seem like early prototypes of other figures that they are going to make in the future. They just have so many weird decisions and things that weren't executed well or thought out very well, or just very strange, honestly. The paints are very clean, so the production side of things is mostly pretty good, but that's almost it. The accessories are okay. I can't recommend the figures, honestly, unless you really want a generic-looking Wonder Woman that's just going to stand there. She looks way better than Batman and Superman, I want to point out. Like, she doesn't have super odd proportions or anything, but it's definitely not the Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman. It's just good enough to be what I just said. It's like a generic Wonder Woman, which is okay to look at, kind of. That's it. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say, guys. It's not very good. I can't really recommend it. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up almost every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.